There are a lot of
hold on,
sites.
hold on.
Yeah, I've got one. I've followed earthquakes for decades. Let me see on my phone. There are a lot of apps. Earthquake Alert is one of them. You can go to the U.S. Geological Survey, and they've actually taken earthquakes off. The government really messes around with the quake stuff. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah,
I'm
I had,
here.
there you are. I had skunk issues last night. Did you get any waves from the earthquake yesterday?
Nah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting any. I mean,
Nothing of note.
I saw some posts about some advisories, but
Yeah.
I was like, does anybody know of anybody who was affected by the tsunami?
No, I heard that um Hilo Bay, the bay at the city there, they had some pretty high water there. And they've had that before. I was saying that I think yesterday. I can't remember when I was talking about it, but they when I was there at Hilo, we stayed at a hotel right there on the bay, and they said that they're um when the water goes down and under certain conditions, you'll see some old cars and different things there from when another earthquake happened. I think it was back in the 40s. A big quake happened and it sent a tsunami up there and it went way into town and washed everything back out into the bay, destroyed much of the town, which is sad. The right there, right now, there's a really pretty Japanese park. I got lots of nice pictures of it, but hopefully it didn't do too much damage because Hilo's pretty flat. It's right on the ocean, but it's a flat area, which is unusual.
I
Pretty
mean, the only
town.
thing, it's funny because the news cycle didn't really focus on it because the only thing I saw about it, everybody was like, oh, where's this? I mean, it was like, oh, we got 5 foot waves all the time. So that's all I ever
Yeah,
saw.
but it's above that. You got your 5 foot, and then you've got above that, and it pushes inland. It's like ocean water's rising, so your waves on top of the level of rising. Yeah, let me see. I looked at my earthquake thing this morning. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see, 22 minutes ago, a 5, 35 minutes ago, a 6.2, 4.9, 4.6, 4.7, 4, that was in Boulder Creek, California. 5.0, 4.9. These are all Russia. 4.6, 4.6. Oh, there's one in Fiji. Fiji had the 6.6. It had a 6.6 about 6 hours before the one in Russia happened. And Dutch since explained why that was important. Russia, Alaska, Russia. It's like almost probably 95% of the many, oh my gosh, I'm spinning and spinning and spinning. There are hundreds of quakes, hundreds of quakes. This goes by 24 hours. So 24 hours ago, there was a 5.3 in Russia,
Oh,
11:21. Yeah, so yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of quakes in Russia since then.
oh, I wasn't even thinking about the quakes. I was just thinking about the water from the tsunami that
Oh, that's where
everybody.
it cut. Well, they showed the buoys. We were watching buoys last night, and they went clear down fairly quickly. They were down past Australia, bouncing around out in the ocean. That's how they can judge where the tsunamis are at. And they said this can go on for days. But well, then you've got all the earthquakes happening for days too. So
I told my daughter last night we probably more likely get some earthquakes versus any high water. I mean, there is a there is a place not very far, probably about 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away that they got flooded out. What last year before, something like
mhm.
that. But as far as anything else, although there was, I mean, of course there were the advisories. That's really all they had was all California had was advisories. They didn't upgrade it to anything as far as I know. I didn't get any
Yeah.
alerts.
I think there was different sides of, well, let's see, Russia. They showed some of the tidal wave coming in off on Russia. Now, Kamchatka gets hit a lot. It's always getting earthquakes. All the Aleutians are, but that was unusually large. Certain places just get a lot. Solomon Islands, um, down by New Zealand, there's a few places down there that get hit a lot. and they can get pretty big ones. But yeah, the one in Alaska was quite large yesterday. I'm surprised a lot more damage wasn't done. But
So
yeah, you'll
you know
see them shaking all the time. Go ahead.
what I find really weird about all this, and I could be wrong, but I could have sworn about a week or so ago I saw something in Telegram that talked about a. I mean, I thought it had already happened. They talked about a. I think it was Alaska getting an earthquake and a tsunami hitting Russia. And I. So I don't know. Was that predictive? I don't know. I don't know
Yeah, it
if it
might have
actually
been.
happened or if it made the news or what. But I know either that I was getting a prophetic sign. I don't know. But I mean, just nobody talked about it, and I'm like, and I just kind of ignored it because I've gotten to where I pretty much ignore the weather events because of I mean, because when you talk about the geoengineering, the seed clouding or cloud seeding and all the other stuff, I just really don't pay attention much with the weather events anymore because I'm like, there's something more behind that. I just don't
Well,
know
you
anymore.
have to watch too because we've always had weather. We've always had earthquakes, and we've always had bad weather, and we've always had bad earthquakes. So you have to look. I look at. I know HARP can do certain things. I've seen things in the sky where it's doing, I think mainly it's for crop manipulation because they want a famine because if they can kill our crops, they control us. Well, why don't they just use their earthquake machine and just kill everybody with that? Well, because it doesn't work that way. I don't believe they can get that big of a quake going. I think they've tried. That might indeed be why they invented the atomic bomb. Who knows? That might be why they are using CERN. CERN's much more of a, and there are a lot more than just the one collider in Switzerland. There are, oh, geez, was it 8, 10 years ago? What I understood was there were 14 CERN colliders on the planet, and 4 of them were in the US. So those are atom smashers. They are basically nuclear sites, and they're massive. But no, I think that HARP, I've seen square clouds. I remember the first time I saw it was in 1997. I was outside in Spokane with some friends talking, and I looked up and I thought, what the heck's going on up there? I was already aware of chemtrails because I'd seen them, but I looked up and saw the clouds. It was kind of like a low cloud layer, and it was starting to get these like a checkerboard type lines. Like, so you could see that there were squares. They were dividing up into squares, and within about 2 or 3 minutes, there was a small space between the. I mean, it's like all divided up into squares with a narrow um, band between all of them, and it covered the whole sky. And it was very low clouds. And I thought, what the heck? So I knew that they were doing something because I knew that was not, that was, the people I was with, I said, look up there. What do you think? And they were like freaking out about it. They couldn't believe it. And I saw it again about a week, not even a week ago, probably 4 or 5 days ago out here in two different cloud layers. Um, I saw the squares starting up again. They were doing something. You can't stop them, so really, you can't really worry about it too much because you can't stop them.
Wait,
Collider. Well, I'm talking about colliders half right. Not necessarily. I call it CERN because people know what I'm talking about. They're actual colliders, and they're built far underground. My opinion of what they are, and these big data. They're calling them data centers, but they're needing massive amounts of power to run a data center, and they're putting those up everywhere. These colliders are providing the power, and the data centers are there to collect data. What do you think they do when the tribulation hits and they're collecting everyone's information? Just like today, Pam was talking about how they want to put all your medical information in one place with the government.
they already do that.
Really?
They already
Well, they
do
kind
that.
of do. Yeah, I remember last time I went to a dentist, I don't go anymore because I kept getting cavities when I went to dentists. Um, the last time I went, they said, well, we want to give the hospital your dental records, but we need your permission. I said, absolutely not. It's not their business what my teeth look like. But they can use it for identification. I said, that's up to the police. That's not up to the hospital. They are trying to make fusion centers with all of your data, and then they sell it. They sell your information, and then they can also lose, quote unquote, lose your information. How many times have um, passwords been breached? It's like your passwords are just there to placate you and make you think that you're secure. Your passwords, they get busted all the time. They're constantly being breached. Uh, but they're stealing your information and they're using it against you. I think they're using your DNA information against you. They've got the ability to do that. They know they can do it, so why wouldn't they use it? Why would they even look to find something like that? It's all going into the beast system, literally into the beast system, because when you get your mark, excuse me, and billions of people will, they need a place to store all the information, because it says, the Bible says, that if you don't, let's see, only people that have the mark will be able to buy or sell. Well, how will they know? They'll know, number one, because they'll know who has a mark, and because they keep that information stored somewhere, and they've got surveillance so they can see. Did you buy that? Did you trade in a back alley? Well, there's going to be, why do you think Elon's putting all those satellites up in the sky? That's not for your telephone. It's not for your internet. It's for their internet. It's for their surveillance. It's not for us, but they're selling it to us like it is so that we won't get, the sheep won't get nervous. That's what it's for. Think about it.
Well, you think about, okay, well, you can go back. I can go back to 1990s when I got my first Mastercard credit card, and they would send me a monthly statement showing where I went to eat, what I did with my card, tracking my purchases. And it's like, well, that's what I got receipts for. Is to,
Costco does that. You can look at Gas Costco to go back and see what you bought 20 years ago, and they've got it all on a record.
yeah,
Why?
but
Why do they do that?
and I knew about it. Well, if you listen to Dr. Dave Janda, he talked about that. He knew back in it's like healthcare. He said the only person that listened to him was Reagan about healthcare, doing preventative care instead of, and basically he was told, Bush 41 and Clinton and Bush 43, they all said, oh, you can't do that. We'd make the insurance companies happy or unhappy. So he's like, I knew they were all part of the same system then, and he knew that they were starting to track stuff then, and that's one
No.
reason why he got out of the orthopedic business. And let's see, when was my last mammogram? I got a mammogram, about, well, it was before, probably about when I quit my job or doing all that stuff, and they had me go to one of those radiology centers, and she mentioned that, yeah, it's stored, all that data is stored in a database in in government. And I mean, I when I took a when I was helping that lady out, and I was taking her to the doctor all the time, and then they wanted to know about her medications, and are you doing this? I mean, it's all connected. You go to a different doctor, it's all connected.
They
Uh,
want it that way. Yeah. But it's
yeah,
for your good, because then the doctor knows that this one gave you medication, and so he doesn't over medicate you. Well, how about you just tell him?
well,
It's not,
half the time people
they
don't keep track of it anyway. I know I
Well,
don't.
they don't. Yeah, well, the doctors themselves are over prescribing medicine. So the whole thing's a scam. The entire, you know what? It was fine for all of history to just write it on a piece of paper and keep it in your office. And then somebody would call them up and say, hey, do you have this? Oh, yeah, yeah, you can't do that. But no, they don't want to do that. That's like for the convenience of the doctor so that he can take even less time sitting in the room with you. What is it, 2 minutes now? No, healthcare is a business.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give the business information they don't need. I remember when I was when I was at the dentist, they tried to twist my arm to make me give my information to the hospital. And I said, you know what? I didn't give them my real name. The girl in the desk, she knew who I was, but I gave her a fake name. And I said, I'm paying with cash. I'm not using insurance. You write this name down. This is who I am as far as you're concerned. She probably put my real name there, but I told her you use this name. You don't, because when as soon as I found out they were sharing information with the hospital, I wasn't giving them my real name. They have no business knowing that stuff. Some people don't care, let them give it to them. But the ones that care, you have no right to steal my information. And I'd have no doubt they're selling it. It's always about money, or they
Well,
wouldn't be doing it.
well, think of this. You know, when you first, I mean, back in the 70s and probably even before that, your patient file was a whole unique number. Now it's all, everything is built around your social security. They tell you
Which
not
is
to share your,
illegal.
they tell you not to, keep your social security card around because if somebody steal it, it's steal your identity. But then again, that's what they use. That's what they
They
use.
do it all the time.
That's
They
what
do it
they
all the
use for
time. They
passwords.
Yes, and illegal steal all that stuff and just write it. It's like they don't get in trouble for it and nobody cares because it's a the old cards, I'm old enough to have one, say on them not to be used for identification. And you could get $1,000 from any medical person who asked you for your social security number. It was not, it was any business that asked for it could be fined. The person themselves and the business could be fined each $1,000 for each time they asked for it.
Well, do
And
you
I
know?
believe it's still on the books, but they refuse to prosecute for it.
Well, do you know that you don't even have to, if you lose your social security, you don't even have to go and get your birth certificate, your original birth certificate to prove who you are. You can use a passport. You can use what is it?
Yeah, because
School
they
records.
you in order
School
to get
records.
into school or to get a passport, you have to give them a social security number, which is illegal. It's a big Ponzi scheme and it's all a bunch of crap. They promised when they started the social security numbers, I think Roosevelt did it, it would never ever be used to be an identifier because people were aware of the mark of the beast. They didn't want to have a number. It was something that everybody wanted to avoid. And here the government promised, but I'll tell you what I tell people. Today it's a suggestion, tomorrow it's mandatory, just like the shots. They were a suggestion this time, but next time it'll be mandatory.
Yeah.
You watch all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, supposedly back in with Social Security, it was supposed to be a temporary thing to get us back the economy back after World War II. Or
Oh my gosh. Marcia just shared a, I can't get into it because my mouse isn't working again. So BNO News Live, National Weather Service sends update to clarify there's no tsunami threat to North Dakota. What kind of retards would think that there is a tsunami threat to North Dakota? I mean, you have to be a mental midget to think that. Have never seen a map of the United States. That is lunatics, man. It's like brain damage from the shots is all I can think. Brain damage. People are nutty.
what is that panic? Is they just want everybody to panic because people when they're panicking, they make the biggest mistakes because they're fear driven.
Yep. Brad says, I didn't give my social security number on my passport application. I did send birth certificate. Well, guess what happens when you're born? They issue you a social security number now, I do believe. But they
Yeah,
can find it. I mean, that's easy to access.
yeah.
You've got access. So, yeah.
See, when did they? I don't know when that actually went into effect. I know I didn't get my Social Security card until I was in eighth grade, which was in the what was it around 70, 77, 78, or 79, somewhere around in that area. But like my daughter, she had her birth certificate, or not her birth certificate, she got her social security card when I was in the hospital, and that was in 95. So,
Yeah, they don't need maps anymore. Google just takes them. Yeah, you can. I've found people's social security numbers online tied to their names and their addresses. They make it, honestly, this whole thing with passwords and social security numbers, personal identifiers, it is all designed to head to a mark, literally to a mark. Well, you put it on a card. Think about money. Oh, you don't need coins. They're so bulky and so heavy. And just have paper that represents the coin of money. The people got talked into that one. So now money is whatever people agree to what it is, but now it's paper. And now they're refusing the paper and say, oh no, it needs to be on this plastic thing, this card. We just keep a database with all of your information digitally. And so what happens when you lose your card or someone steals it or someone steals your password to your bank account or a blah, 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 blah. Well, if you just put this into your hand or your forehead, it's there forever and nobody can steal it. And well, they can chop your hand off, but,
Wow, that's
or chop your head off, but
that's besides being technologically illiterate, which I'm kind of glad I am. That's one reason why I won't use those digital wallets. Why would I?
yeah, well, you've got the codes. It's coming. You're not going to stop it by not doing it. Um, we've been warned. The Bible talks about it. And for anybody that doesn't think the Bible is real, the Bible's talked about this for thousands of years, and just within the last 20 years, it's been a possibility that it's actually factual. Just like the people in a field or on their housetop watching what's happening inside of a temple miles away. That's just been recent that a normal average person in Israel could be on their rooftop or in a field working and happen to get an alert on their phone to watch this. Something big's happening, like people do with Trump. President Trump had a big announcement. Everybody'd run to their computers or look on their phone and watch it happen in real time. And it's the same thing. This world leader, this Antichrist person, that sets himself up in the temple. Remember, the temple is Jewish, it's not Christian. This is to the Jews. The time of Jacob's trouble during the tribulation is for the Jews. It's not for the Christians. We're already gone. Um, but the Bible tells them when you see these things happen in the temple, flee to the hills of Judea. Don't go back into the house for your coat. Don't go back for your things in the field, but you're on your rooftop and in a field watching what's happening inside of a closed building no less miles away. That literally could only have happened recently. But the Bible talked about it for 2,000 years. It's talked about it. And people want to deny the Bible. My gosh, there's so much in there if you only knew. Yeah, pick one up and read it sometime. But yeah, so things like that are possible now, and everything's leading up to that. The satellites, like I said, the satellites up, they're done. That's the network of those satellites is not going to be for the benefit of mankind. They'll sell it that way. Oh, but yeah, it's crazy what's happening. Yeah, isn't that something? North Dakota getting a tsunami. Boy, well, if the United States cracked in half, who knows? Goodness sakes, people are nuts. But anyway, yeah, so things are moving. If you know your Bible prophecy, things are getting close. They're lining up for a global government. You got all kinds of watch the Middle East. That's where it's all happening. That's where it's all going down. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm pooped out. I got sleep to catch up on. I'm keeping my windows closed tonight so that even though they're closed, I still smell that skunk sometimes. But I'm peeling out of here. You guys, thanks so much. Thanks so much for being with me tonight. I've been sitting on my butt for 3.5 hours. I need to get up and move around a little bit too. So much love to you all. I hope you had a good time tonight and enjoyed the show. And Deb, thank you for the little bit of chat tonight. I hope you have a good show lined up. I'll turn it on and listen in bed. So, pastor's predictions. Yep. So, good night, everybody. Much love to y'all. Good night, Poe. Good night. And remember to pray for Tim. Um, yeah, that Tim and other people are losing family members. They're just not talking about it. So pray for the viewers and listeners. Oh, Deb's having issues. No wonder she wasn't saying anything. I don't see her. Yeah, I see her out there, but she's not talking. Let me see. I gotta look at the participants and see if she's recording. I see her mic's not muted, so it might be maybe she was listening to me blab and figured she'd run to the bathroom. uh, oh, thank you, America Man. God bless you too. It made it so I can't use my Bose speakers anymore. Oh, thank you, Marcia. Appreciate it. Yeah, I can't use my Bose speakers anymore. I can use them on my phone, but my phone didn't do a Windows update. So Windows did something.
I'm back.
There she is. There she is. There she is. Well,
I don't know if it's because Windows 10's getting ready to lose support or what, but I'm having so many, or if it's just that my computer's so old. I don't even know how to if I should go and see about having it re-imaged or not. My fear about trying to mess with my computer is I have everything, my files and everything,
yeah.
the way I have them, and even if I put them on the cloud, so I wouldn't know how to retrieve them, and trying to reset everything back up,
I
everything
think
that
you
I.
can, yeah, it's a pain, but I think you can clone your computer so that everything is put on the new one just like it was on the old one. That's only good if you don't have a virus, but yeah, if you want to, I understand that you can do that. So you just open it up and it's just like your old one was. I need to do that when I get another computer because I've got one computer, it's got some information and it's got a program, a vast program on it that it's a painter and they discontinued it. So I can't put it on other computers that I know of, but it's still active on my old one. And in order to get all my passwords off of it and all of the other stuff, I have to individually, one by one, go in and open it up and look on what the username is and what the password is, and then write it down. And there
Yeah.
are hundreds and hundreds of them in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd like to just be able, and there's no way to take it and just copy it, like do an overall copy for us, what they call them, a CMX file. I can't, there's no option for that. So I don't want, that's a computer that I bought it and it was slow. And I called HP and I talked to several people. I finally got this one lady. I went up the chain and she actually took was it Windows 11 off and put Windows 10 on because she says, "Oh my gosh, I can see," because she was in my computer. She was some bigwig at HP. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I can see what you mean, how slow it is." I said, "Yeah, it's like 14K." I said, "It takes forever to load up a page." I said, "It's nuts." And she goes, "Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it." And she tried finding what was wrong with it and couldn't. So she put Windows 10 on it and it worked great for about 6 or 7 hours. And then it went right back to slow again, but I couldn't find her. So I called them back up and they said, "Oh, we can't do that. It's impossible to take it from Windows 11 to Windows 10." I said, "Well, I'm looking at it right now," and she did it. "Well,
Mm,
it's impossible. You can't do that." And I said, "Well, she did it." So just because they're help, they don't always know what they're talking about.
yeah. Well, I thought I downloaded Windows 11 and then I got the thing the other day saying, "Oh, your computer, your hard drive will not support Windows 11." And I'm getting ready to lose my Windows 10 support. But I've had something messed up with one of the drives that will now two drives that won't update. So I mean they're corrupted or something because they won't update. And every time I go to do a troubleshoot, it's always the same thing. And when I tried to find out
Yeah,
how do I
mine, I've got
fix
one doing
it,
that.
it's like how
You
do I
can't.
fix it? And there's like
You
five
can't.
or
I've
six
got one of
different
those.
ways.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of it. I've got one like that. It's a Windows 10 and it will not, you can't upgrade that one. And so, yeah, and I'm having problems with it anyway, massive problems, and it's my newer one. Uh, okay, let's see. American Mass said 200 gigabytes, or it uses grab everything you need, pictures and video, put on external hard drive and start a new, even on 10. Um, I've done that before, taken everything off of it, but then I get lost. It's like, did I get that? Did I end up, I've got some uh that have like triple the same files because I'd forget if I got it or not. It's like, oh, it's such a hassle. But yeah, I noticed on my computer when I'm running it, I'll go into the task manager and I'll have like 30 of the same exact theme
Yep.
running.
Yep.
And it's even on my new computer, within a week of having it, I've got like 40 Firefox programs running. I'm like, what? I go in there and close them all out one by one by one by one. I've got other things I'm not sure what they are, and I don't want to destroy my computer, so I don't undo them. But every time I go in there, it's just this massive, massive conglomerate. And you can find places that will say, okay, that will tell you what that is and if you can take it out or not, but it takes forever.
Well, some
Oh,
of
just
it
takes
too.
forever.
If you do it, it still messes up. I mean, I know what you're talking about because, like sometimes I'll log on in Microsoft uh, Explorer is running. It's like I'm not in Microsoft Explorer. It didn't shut all the way
Yeah.
down even after I
Oh,
shut it
I
down.
actually block them. I block them. Some of them I remove as soon as I use Explorer or to get my Firefox downloaded and I get rid of Explorer. And what I can't get rid of, I block it so it's disabled. And it doesn't matter. It still loads up and causes problems. So,
Yeah, it just anyway. But you know, I to kind of get back to the tsunami, I'm kind of wondering what if it was controlled, if it was a controlled thing, what was it that they were trying to shake loose? You remember when they talked about was it Damien, the Hurricane Damien hitting or Darren or whatever it was back in 2000 what 18 19, and you know the whole Sharpie Gate, and it turned out that when it hit Epstein Island, it exposed the I think it exposed the submarine tunnel. So I wonder if there was a shaking, you know, by the shaking of the sea, if it exposed anything.
well, some of those earthquakes can do a lot of things. I was talking to a customer. I used to do ads for a paper here. I had to contact people and get their payment information, all that stuff, and I would do their ads for them. And this one lady, they ran a health food place or a health based place, but her son was worked for NASA. And it was after that big quake that caused a tsunami in Japan. She said that quake was so big and so violent that her son told her this, that it redrew the shipping lanes. There were underwater mountains
Mm-hmm.
where there were never mountains before, and there were underwater valleys that were trenches that were super deep. And it was so treacherous to travel, they had to literally redraw all the maps for travel in the Pacific because of that earthquake. So I don't know what this one in Alaska did. It might have done something similar, but yeah, she told me about that. She said for some reason they were keeping it quiet and they weren't telling anyone, but her son told her about it. Well, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, there's everything now. It seems like to me everything there's something hidden with everything that's happening. You know, all the weather phenomena and everything. I mean, it's like oh my gosh. It's like, what's the distraction? What are you trying to keep people focused on? I know one thing. There's certain people that are not letting go of the Epstein thing, and the thing is, it's like we talked about it during President Trump's first term. You know, everything about Epstein. You know, that they're trying to bring out, and you know, we knew about President Trump banning Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. We know about the even. I mean, that came out in President Trump's first term. You know, I remember reading Virginia Roberts' deposition. I mean, PSB. We had this whole big party going on when that deposition came out on Virginia Roberts, and we broke everything down. We saw the flight logs. We saw all that. And now it's like everybody thinks it's so brand new. It's oh yes, he's on there. It's like well, the reason why MAGA doesn't care is because they already know what the agenda behind that is, you know? The whole, I mean, it's crazy that these people focus on what they focus on. Everything is about now. It's about Epstein, which I'm in a way I'm glad because maybe we can finally get that out there. But or maybe that was that's one of the things that we were first introduced to is the pedophilia and the trafficking, which is what Epstein's tied to. But and to know that our politicians are all part of it, the clergy is all part of it. So
Well,
now,
you look at the I just saw clergy that had the rainbow eye color shadow and the rainbow on his white vesture. And I mean, definitely Sir Gayness doing his little Methodist or Lutheran, I can't remember what it was. Whatever it was, it's like they are perverting everything. The church is like Hibbs said tonight, Pastor Hibbs said tonight that they're even AI is changing words in the Bible very
oh
slowly and
yeah,
quietly, and people that don't read their Bible all the time won't even know. But if you read your Bible, you'll pick it out. It's like, wait a minute, that's not right. And you'll go look it up in the Bible. It's like, sure enough,
yeah, that's the reason why hard
yeah.
copies are important. That's like tonight. I started to read. I start. I did. I was in First Kings 13, and I accidentally used the New International Version, and it was like, wait
Oh,
a
I hate
minute. So
that.
I'm comparing it to the commentaries. Like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. That's not right.
Oh,
So I had to finish. I was
you
like,
know it right away too. Yeah, you know it right away. It's like, yeah. Well, I had Jehovah Witnesses come to my house one time years ago, years and years and years ago, and they were saying, well, we were talking about the Bible and we had a really good discussion. And they said, well, what do you think about this? Because they're trained what to say. They pick specific
mm-hmm.
passages and they have you read them. And so they had me read something, and I'm like, because I was using their Bible, and I'm like, no. And it was a very random verse. It must have been the Holy Spirit pointing it out because I was like, no, that's not right. I said that verse is not right. And I went and got my Bible and opened it up. Well, sure enough, they had inserted a different word there, and it was very similar, but it was not the same. And so I read my Bible and I said, this is what the verse is. And they said, well, that's the same thing. I said, no, it's not. If it was the same thing, it would be the same word. And I said, your Bible has a different word in it. And so I explained to them, I had to give them the definition of the word and explain to them why it made the entire sentence different. And I did tell them what they like to do is they'll say, well, how about this passage? And they'll have you read a passage and make a big statement with that little passage, one sentence. And I'm like, okay, so let me grab this book here. You've never read this book. Let me read one sentence out of it. And you tell me what the whole book's about. Because that's what they were doing. They were the ones, they were the ones um, laying the foundation and the definition for what things were, and then telling you that's what the sentence was meaning. It's like, no, that's not how it works. They argue with me for quite a while, but man, I was adamant. And I was. This was wintertime, and they purposely come to the door wearing just a light um, raincoat. They had their white shirts and ties, their thin shirts, and their raincoats, so they're not dressed warmly, and they're got their dress shoes on. It's snowing, and I walked out on the porch because I wasn't letting them in my house, and I was barefoot, and I stood out there barefoot on the concrete, and they were freezing in what little they were wearing. And we had probably an hour dissertation out there, and I was absolutely frozen when I came in, but I was not letting them in my house. And I wasn't going to quit until they understood that they had been taught a very deceptive way to push an agenda. And I didn't do it meanly. I did it with kindness to the best of my ability, but I wasn't going to let them get away without understanding that they were being deceived by the book and how they were taught to read it. And I don't think either one of them had even read the whole Bible, but they send them out. They send them out like that. I've had several of those people I've got into about things like that. But like another lady, she came to my house. I let her in because I knew her daughter was. Her daughter married my sister's ex-boyfriend and had a kid with her. The kid was just born. The baby was still in a carry-on bassinet or baby carrier. But she was sitting there saying, "Well, do you think such and such is so?" It's like, and you can learn from those people sometimes. They have a different outlook on things, but you can learn from them sometimes. I said, "Oh, yeah, oh," and she had to say, "Well, read this passage." And it's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I just learned something. Good, thank you." And then I said, "Do you believe in the rest?" She literally, when she got done reading about the dead in Christ will be raised first and then the living to be with the Lord forever. And oh my gosh, she stood up, grabbed her because her daughter was with her and the baby, and she grabbed her by the arm and she literally fled my house. She flew out the door, dragging her daughter and the baby with her, scared out of her ever loving mind because I had her read that out of her own Bible and she had never read that before. So I knew she hadn't read before. She had never read the Bible before. She just knew little pieces that they were told to evangelize with. And the next day, her husband was the deacon or whatever they call them he was the head mucky muck at the oh, what do they call those people? Not Seventh Day, the other ones. I can't think of it.
You,
Anyway, he was the big shot there.
Kingdom Witnesses.
No, Jehovah Witnesses. Jehovah Witness.
Well, I know, but
Yeah,
they
he
have
was
like
the
a
big mucky muck.
it's like a kingdom. There, a lot of their synagogues are called kingdom temples or something. Kingdom something.
Oh, geez, probably. No, they were just Jehovah Witnesses. He was the head of the church here. The next day, he came to the house looking for me. He was mad. He was really mad, and he had two other guys with him. And he came to the house and was pounding on the door wanting to talk to me. And I told my mom, "You do not let him know I'm here." And she had to send him away. But he was so mad he had to bring two other guys with him. He was scared and he was mad. His wife was shook up. Did she leave him? No. Did she leave the church? No. But it was in her Bible. And she read it out loud and she took it for what it was and freaked out. So yeah, it was interesting. He's probably gonna do a what do you call it? Get rid of demons out of me or so. I don't know what he was planning on doing, but it was creepy. It was creepy to come after because back then I was 20 years old, 21 years old. His wife was at least double my age, as was he. Yeah, it was just creepy. Anyway, yeah, so they don't read their Bibles, and that's a problem. People that don't read the Bible have no business telling other people what's in it because they don't know. They take it out of context, they use it as a club, not knowing what it really means. And you can learn a lot by reading it. There's prophecy. Most of the was it what a third of the Bible is prophecy, or is it two-thirds? It's a lot, and the Bible hasn't been wrong yet. So yeah, it's a good thing to know. But people, it's going to be hard for people that aren't saved to understand it because it's just gibberish to them. But God will reach you if you're open to it.
Yeah. Well, I was
Excuse me.
today. I was in First Kings 13, and we're talking about the man of God that gave Jeroboam a word from God. You know, basically basically a warning, and we talked about it talked about how the man of God was tricked by another prophet. He was an old prophet, and he tricked him. He gave him a lying spirit because the man of God was supposed to. I mean, he's not identified as a prophet, but his title is the man of God from Judah, because Jeroboam was in the northern kingdoms, and there wasn't really a a true high priest to do the sacrifices, and the so the prophet, the man of God from Judah, he was told specifically not to tarry, not to stay there. In fact, to go back a different direction. Well, an old prophet heard again. He's not identified. And I mentioned, a lot of people rely so heavily on the spiritual advisors that they don't read the Bible themselves, so they don't know what's in it, and that's a dangerous thing because this man of Judah, this God, this prophet, he was tricked by another prophet that sits there because this prophet lied and he told him, well, I heard from God too, and God said, you can come and tarry with me. And it's like, if you don't hear from God, you either hear from God or you don't. And if you don't hear from God, or if you hear from God, you stick to it until you get confirmation from God that your instructions have changed. You don't let someone else convince you that your instructions won't change. So it just,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna peel out of here, Deb. You guys all have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your night with Deb. And thank you for
well,
the. I'm just falling asleep and I'm done.
I don't.
I'm
I
toast.
I hear
So,
you. I was, but I'm. So I hope Poe sticks around because I may need to be bailed out because I have been kicked off twice now of out of Zoom twice now,
Zoom
and
stinks. Yeah, Zoom's been acting up lately too. He'll probably be out there.
so
So anyway,
I do not know if that means we're over the target because it was while you were talking about your experience with the Jehovah Witnesses that I got kicked out this last time, and it actually stopped the recording. So I don't know. We'll see.
really,
Uh,
wow. I don't. Oh, it says it's recording, so it is now. So that's good.
yeah. So
Okay. Well, good night, everybody. Much love. God bless. See you Friday, God willing. So Deb, be blessed and have a great show.
thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good night.
everybody. This is On a Wing and a Prayer, and I'm gonna do my show opener, and I'll be right back. So put a 1 if you're sticking around. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but we'll figure it out.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand an evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all of the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all the perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, and willfully so, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Amen.
Father God, I ask now for an impartation of your Holy Spirit. May the fullness of the Spirit of Jesus rest upon President Trump, that he be anointed with wisdom and understanding, with your counsel and might, with knowledge and fear of the Lord. And accordingly, may President Trump not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears, or lean on his own understanding, but may he recognize your prompting and move according to your guidance. I ask that you give the President supernatural discernment to know who is trustworthy and who is not. Bring into the light all deception and intrigue. Expose and reverse the plans of those who would harm President Trump and this nation. In the name of Jesus, I break off all voices and influence that do not come from you, Father God. May your truth and peace surround and reign in the White House. God, you have raised up President Trump to govern at a time when there is a resurgence of oppression. Only you, Lord Jesus Christ, can anoint him to have victories over strongholds and to establish justice for the needy. Give him strength and courage to persevere in the constant battle that surrounds him, and refresh him. Father God, I see that you have such a tender heart for President Trump. Draw him close to you. I ask now for an impartation of hunger for you, so that he may love you with all his heart, soul, mind, and strength, and delight in knowing you. And if he came and whisper your name, may he go forward shouting your name. In Jesus' name, in the name of my King, I bless you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Let me get into my Rumble here. I'm going to hop into Rumble. I'm going to start, go live in Rumble, at least for a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how long I make it this time. Hold on, I need to find out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. My studio. I'm only doing to Rebel and not YouTube. Yeah. Here, let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can. For some reason, YouTube didn't start too, so I'm only going live in Rumble tonight. I guess I'll just have to live with it. So I got my Rumble account open. And if anybody wants to join me in Rumble, you're more than welcome to. I know, Poe, I get you. It's hard to figure out what to put out there these days because there's just so much information out there. We just don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know. I like I said before, I'm bored with it all. I am bored. I'm ready. Let's see some real stuff. I know. I understand. I get it. It's for those that you know have never been paying attention, have not been paying attention, and so that's all this information dump. That's who it's for. It's for the people who just was going along with the flow. Whatever was putting out there, that's what they knew, that's what they followed, and I get that. But it's just so frustrating now because and I've mentioned it before. I mean, I know I'm new to the game. I'm only like 10 years in, and other people are way ahead of the curve, further along than I am. And, Chris, Aaron, they've been doing this a long time, so they know. But still, I mean, if I'm frustrated, imagine how people who've been doing this for a long time, even Thumper, just imagine that. So I thought, let me see, and it's just, it's just, I don't know. I partly want to talk about a little bit about the immigration stuff, but I harp on the immigration so much that I think people are probably bored with immigration, and but I mean, did anybody catch this whole thing with the Manhattan? I mean, can you imagine two shootings at one time, basically? So let's go with this one first. We'll talk about this, and let's see. And I know LT talked about this shooting too, and we know yesterday. Let's see. Oops, wait a minute. I need to take this off. Take that down. Let me make sure I still have that up. Alright. Let's go with Rumble Studio. So we have the Manhattan shooting, and this, I mean, I'm not doing the updates. I don't have anything on the update, but this came out, of course, July the 29th, which was Tuesday. So the shooting first thing I noticed on this Manhattan shooting was that it took place in Park Avenue, or 543. I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's an odd address. 345. It's sequential, and 345 Park Avenue, which houses NFL's headquarters. There was a theory back in the 2018 during President Trump's first administration, that it seems like all these shootings took place after a famous athlete passed away. There were so many athletes passing away, and it didn't really matter if it was NFL, NBA, baseball, car racing, whatever. If it was a formalized sport or nationalized sport, and something happened to an athlete within a week. In fact, I was tracking it for a while. Within a week, something was happening. So I thought, really, this NFL headquarters, it's almost like, if you're brainwashed, if you're under that MK Ultra, that was the trigger. That would be, like that Walmart shooting in El Paso. Some other shootings that took place. And of course, we all know they always start screaming with the agenda whenever these things happen. So you have that. So let's see. The man who opened fire in a Midtown Manhattan office building, killing 4 people and wounding a 5th, appeared to be targeting the NFL headquarters and had a note claiming he suffered from CTE, police sources told ABC News. So Shane Tamura drove across the country with a semi-automatic rifle and then carried out a mass shooting on Monday in the building that's home to the NFL's offices, officials said. He died by suicide. Isn't that what they usually do? If the police don't take him out right away, then they do it themselves, right? Here's the latest on the investigation. So when Tamura entered the 345 Park Avenue, police said he immediately opened fire at an NYPD officer and then shot a woman who took cover. He then listen to the words that they use. So he immediately opened fire. So what do? Just like Rambo went into and started just shootings. Then he sprayed the lobby with gunfire and shot a security guard at the elevator bank police said. The gunman left bullet holes in a large NFL crest on the wall by one of the elevator banks. Eerie, in quotes, surveillance video captured him allowing a woman to walk out of the elevator, sparing her from being shot. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said he allowed her to walk past him without any action at all, Adams told CNN. So look at this. So, and of course, the CNN News, was already, claiming he was a certain race. So here's the other interesting. So he took an elevator to the 33rd floor. I mean, whenever certain numbers kind of pop out, they just kind of pop out at you, right? The offices of Rudin Management, where he shot another victim and then died by suicide, authorities said. It appears as though he's going after the employees at the NFL, Adams said on Fox News, or Fox 5. So it appeared Tamura took the wrong elevator bank up to the NFL headquarters, Adams told CBS. Instead, it took him to Rudin Management, and that is where he carried out additional shootings and took the lives of additional employees. 4 people were killed, a security guard for the building, an executive at Blackstone, who was a wife and mom, a police officer who was a dad of 2, and a young employee at Rudin Management. Well, maybe we need to look into Blackstone. All 4 victims died of gunshot wounds to the torso, one with one additionally shot in the upper or left upper extremity, according to the autopsy results. Wow, that was quick. Autopsy results were that quick? I mean, what, not 24 hours, 48 hours? Tamura died by suicide from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his torso, his autopsy found. A 5th shooting victim, an NFL employee, according to Commissioner Roger Goodell. Oh, and Roger Goodell, the one that, that whole controversy with kneeling during the national anthem, isn't he a part of that? Was injured and taken to the hospital in critical condition, the official said. That victim was listed in stable condition on Tuesday morning, according to a source familiar with the individual status. So here we go with the anonymous sources. Remember what we know about anonymous sources? Goodell said Tuesday that the office will remain closed through the end of next week. Police investigating the deadly Midtown shooting found two notes. I think it should be found 2 notes. So was it 1 note or 2 notes? From the gunman, sources told ABC News. Here we go with sources. 1 page of the first note found in Tamura's pocket accused the NFL of concealing the dangers to players' brains from playing football in order to maximize profits, sources said. A 2nd page mentioned CTE and blamed football. A 3rd page asked, "Study my brain, please. I'm sorry," sources said. Well, think about it. If they are being or if this guy was under the MK Ultra influence, what do you think? What do you think they're targeting? CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a brain disease linked to repeated hits to the head, often seen in military veterans and athletes, including football players, hockey players, and boxers. Tamura, 27, played high school football in Los Angeles, and so now you got a California connection, right? But he did not play professionally. He has no known connection to the NFL. It remains unknown if Tamura suffered from CTE, which can't be diagnosed in a living person with certainty, but doctors may suspect it based on symptoms and a history of head trauma. Tamura's brain will be examined as part of his autopsy. The New York City office of the chief medical examiner said, "Oh, I mean, come on. New York, what is the connection between that and the virus, right? And what they did to the people who got sick." So, I mean, so now we got to believe what the medical examiner says. The second note was found in Las Vegas, where Tamura lived. So now we got another connection. Remember the Las Vegas shooting and what happened with the Tesla car that exploded. Second note was found in Las Vegas, where Tamura lived, sources said, describing it at least in part as an apology to his parents. Tamura lived in Las Vegas, where he was a surveillance department employee at the Horseshoe Hotel and Casino, a Horseshoe spokesperson said. So he was a surveillance employee. Gosh, stretch, right? Police traced Tamura's BMW, so he owns a BMW? Movements, I wonder how old it is. Movements through multiple states after it left Nevada. Excuse me. Oh man. Sorry, I don't. Something's kicked up. Dust or something's kicked up. So, so they traced his movements through multiple states after he left Nevada on Saturday and entered New York on Monday, after about 2 hours before the shooting, sources said. Here we go with the sources. Tamura had two mental health crisis holds in his background in Nevada, one in 2022 and the other in 2024, law enforcement sources said. So, okay, so he's a surveillance employee, but yet he has a mental health crisis? Boy, someone knows how to vet their employees, right? Hey, rock and roll. Glad you're still around. So these holds typically allow a person to be detained for up to 20 or 72 hours if they are thought to be a danger to themselves or others. According to one source, when there is this type of hold in Nevada, officers have to transport the person to the hospital. Once that happens, medical staff take over and decide how long to hold the person. Tamara's father, Terrence Tamura, was here. Oh my gosh. Can they be more, I'm sorry, but can they be more obvious on who they basically weaponized, I guess you could say? Uh, so Tamara's father, Terrence Tamura, was a retired LA Police Department officer, according to LAPD. He began his service in 1990, which would be followed under Bush 41, and served 27 years with the department. He was a police officer 3 rank when he retired in good standing on August the 5th, 2017. In Monday's shooting, Tamura used an M4 style semi-automatic Palmetto State Armory PA-15 rifle equipped with a scope and a barrel flashlight, law enforcement sources told ABC News. God, where did they get these sources? I mean, so the M4 style weapon is similar to the AR-15 assault rifle and similar to the high-powered firearms widely used by the U.S. military in combat and training. While the military version of the M4 can be used as automatic weapons, civilian firearms are legally barred for being automatic. So M4 style weapons sold to civilians are almost always semi-automatic. In Tamara's car at the time of the attack were located a Colt Python 357. Python. What do we know? If you put your spiritual eyes on Python, that Python spirit, right? That twisting spirit, that lying spirit. A 357 caliber revolver, ammunition, medication, and 2 cell phones. Why does he need 2 cell phones? The source, this is my commentary. Why does he need 2 cell phones? The sources said. Where was he getting his orders? The shooter legally bought the 357 revolver using his Nevada concealed carry permit, which he's had since 2022. Okay, let me get this straight. The guy has had mental issues. He's had, he had this permit in 2022. You would think that if he had the permit before he got the mental hold in 2022, they would have revoked his permit, right? Guys, something just really does not add up. In June, someone at a gun show in Las Vegas called in a tip saying Tamara had purchased large amounts of ammunition and an aftermarket trigger, sources said. Of course, here we go with Hochul. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Tuesday issued an impassioned statement pushing for an assault weapons ban. Yeah, there we go. Let's ban the assault weapons. Yeah, right. New York has some of the strongest gun laws in the nation. We banned assault weapons. We strengthened our red flag law. We closed dangerous loopholes, she said, adding that our laws only go so far when weapons from other states are brought to New York. Well, guess what? So here it is. So here's the rub, right? All these shootings, people talk about how, we don't need more laws. You need to enforce the laws that are on the book. We talk about how the ones that have relaxed laws, gun control laws, and the whole premise is that the crooks don't care if it's legal or illegal. They're going to find to get a weapon. The bad guys are going to find to get a weapon whether you have a good law or not, right? And so what did they do? They found a guy with an actual permit to commit this crime, and now they want, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, and repeat, right? Gosh. So the American people are tired of thoughts and prayers, the governor said. Congress must summon the courage to stand up to gun lobby and finally pass national assault weapons ban before more innocent lives are stolen. Well, maybe, like I said, how did this guy get a permit if he already had a mental health issues? Really. They really picked a good patsy, I think, in my opinion. This guy, he checks all the boxes, and now you add a new box. He actually had a lawful he had a lawful concealed carry permit. So he's connected to the police, he's connected to LA, he's connected to Las Vegas, he goes to New York. Why would he go all the way to New York from Las Vegas in the first place? What was the trigger? And nah. So an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, and we must confront this violence head on. Right. Oh, I forgot. I missed this this verse. This paragraph or this statement. Hochul has ordered flags on all state government buildings to be flown at half staff in honor of the victims. Oh, that's the least she can do. She's part of the problem. President Donald Trump wrote on social media on Tuesday that he's been briefed on the tragic shooting that took place in Manhattan, a place that I know and love. I trust our law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of why this crazed lunatic committed such a senseless act of violence, he wrote. My heart is with the families of the 4 people who were killed, including the NYPD officer who made the ultimate sacrifice. God bless New York, the New York Police Department. God bless New York. So let's see. All right. So let's take a stroll down the rabbit hole and let's look at Blackstone and what they are about. I'm going to stop the share here. I'm going to stop the share in Rumble. So if anybody wants to join me in Rumble and with the chat. Yep. It's all part. So let's go see what Blackstone and Ryden Management. So let's see if we can find anything on these. Get that. Since we got time, I really didn't have a lot on the menu. I'm really bummed out that my YouTube didn't come up. All right, so Blackstone, and I know LT did a kind of a breakdown. He some of the connections. That's weird. So there's, when I put in Blackstone, there's Blackstone sausage stuffing, Blackstone griddle steak fajitas, Blackstone apple cider donuts, Blackstone executive, Blackstone golf course development controversy, Blackstone mortgage trust, Blackstone mortgage trust target, Blackstone griddle Walmart shopping guide, and Blackstone Valley. So, and aren't those some interesting topics? Let me see what I can. I really don't like these AI thingies coming up. So it looks like Blackstone Management. Is that what it is? Blackstone Management, which is looks like it's an investment company. Let's see what this says. So this is coming out of the Cleveland.com. So this is this is considered, just FYI, this is considered a left on the left side of the political aisle, but so Blackstone executive identified as victim in Manhattan office shooting. So let's see so Wesley L. Patner, a mother of 2 and head of Blackstone Women's Initiative, was fatally shot at the company's Park Avenue building. So a high-ranking Blackstone executive has been identified as Wesley Patner after being fatally shot in the lobby of the Company's Park Avenue office building. LePatner, a mother of two, led the investment firm's women's initiative and was described as brilliant and deeply respected. So, so now we have the victims checking the box. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a woman, she's, I know, if you want to call her probably a feminist. So Blackstone confirmed LePatner's death in a statement. Words cannot express the devastation we feel, Blackstone said in its statement. Wesley was a beloved member of the Blackstone family and will be sorely missed. She was brilliant, passionate, warm, generous, and deeply respected within our firm and beyond. According to her biography on the Blackstone's website, LePatner was the global head of Core Plus Real Estate and CEO of Blackstone Real Estate Income Trust, having joined the company in 2011. The Wall Street Journal reported that Patner was fatally shot in the lobby. As chair of Blackstone's Women's Initiative, LePatner advocated for workplace diversity. So now we have the diversity. I can get that off. There we go. Now we have the diversity checkbox. In an interview with Leaders Magazine in 2022, she emphasized the importance of diverse perspective in investment decisions. Having the most diverse perspective across the table making decisions is critical to our investment process, LePatner said. And it's not just about getting people to the table once they join us. We want to ensure they are included and have a voice. The Yale graduate, okay, here we have Yale. I think Yale is one of those that have been under scrutiny and losing some of their funding because of their practices. Had recently expanded her influence beyond finance when she was elected as trustee of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in February. Okay, so here we go with the philanthropy, right? Blackstone's statement concluded, our prayers are with her husband, children, and family. We are also saddened by the loss of of the other innocent victims as well, including brave security personnel and NYPD. So the shooting, which occurred at 345 Park Avenue, also claimed the lives of three others, including off-duty officer Digital Islam? Oh, we may have to look at that name too. The gunman, identified as Shane Devon Tamura of Las Vegas, died by suicide after shooting multiple people in the lobby. And, oh, come on, why'd you do that? Oh, don't do that to me. Oh, someone didn't like that, did they? After the shooting, after the shooting, people in the lobby and then taking an elevator to the 33rd floor, reports say. Regarding the shooter's background, Police Commissioner Jessica S. Tisch and Tamura, who used a M4 rifle in the attack, had a documented mental health issue. Isn't that what MK Ultra, aren't all of these shootings are what? Probably 90% or 95, 98% of these mass shootings, they all had mental health issues. Is there anyone that didn't have some sort of mental health issue? The building houses several companies, including the NFL, whose Commissioner Roger Goodell confirmed an employee was seriously injured but in stable condition. So let's see if we can find some more information on this officer. That to me is like, this has almost got to be a made up name, right? Seriously? Okay, I'll stop share there. Stop it in Rumble. Okay, let's see. Let me see what we get with this guy. Let's see if we can get an autobiography on him. Let's see, New York Times. So he was from Bangladesh. And apparently his father suffers a stroke afterward. See, there's a lot. Should we go with TMZ, Yahoo, or Breitbart? Or we could go be CBS News. What do y'all think? Who should we go with? Or Gateway Pundit. We could go with a Gateway Pundit. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Who should we go with? Well, New York Post, I think, is going to be behind a paywall. I mean, don't get me wrong. I never rejoice when anybody's killed, but it's just hard for me to get that much sympathy when, when you come to believe, or after past experiences taught you that not everything is as we should believe. So, let's go. Okay. All right. So I really don't like these advertisements embedded in all this junk. So, father of slain NYPD officer suffers stroke after learning of son's death in Manhattan shooting. Officer's pregnant wife also hospitalized. So this is like the actual gunman. Let's see. Oh, Gateway Pundit's no better than the ABC News when it comes to narratives, right? The father of NYPD police officer Diderot Islam, who was gunned down by the crazed mass shooter in Manhattan on Monday evening, was so upset by the news of his son's death that he suffered a stroke. Islam's wife, who is pregnant, was also rushed to the hospital upon hearing the news, his cousin told the New York Post. They are all crying. Cousin Muhammad Manuel Islam said of the family, "There is no brother, only him. The family is really feeling a big problem. His wife had the doctor's appointment. I heard one of the police officers from the precinct she took her to the hospital. The cousin added his father went last night to see him. When he heard the message, he had a stroke, feeling bad, so he had a stroke. So the hospital did not release him. The officer was one among 4 innocent victims brutally murdered by a deranged gunman who drove across country from Las Vegas to target the NFL headquarters in a high-rise building on Park Avenue. So they assume NFL headquarters was the target because of 2 notes that he had, and which none of this makes sense to me, because he thinks he has a head injury. So the killer, identified as 27-year-old Shane Tamura, had planned an attack. Had a plan to attack the NFL's headquarters in what appears to be a twisted vendetta. Like I said, Gateway Pundit is not any better. Why not just give the facts? Why not just present what you know as you know it? Over his diagnosis, well, according to the other report, he hadn't been diagnosed. They weren't even sure if it was possible he was, because there was no way to, come up with a diagnosis during autopsy, according to the other report we just read. Over his diagnosis of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, the brain disease associated with repeated head injuries in football players. According to reports, Tamura Storm, the 44-story building or tower at 345 Park Avenue around 6:30 p.m., firing indiscriminately and claiming the lives of Islam, who was working as a security guard at the time, a Blackstone executive in the lobby, and another individual in the offices of Rudin Management after taking an elevator upstairs. Tamura reportedly did not make it to the NFL headquarters, as he took the wrong elevator and ended up in the management office instead. The maniac, oh goodness, let's describe him as a maniac now, then turned the rifle on himself, committing suicide and leaving behind a suicide note that bizarrely thanked a CTE documentary and named prominent neuroscientists. The NYPD and city officials have expressed condolences with ongoing investigations into the shooter's motives and background. So Cassandra McDonald, Miss Cassandra McDonald, maybe can you just I don't like it from the right any more than I would from the left. Stop using inflammatory descriptive words when you report a story. That's what I say. So let's see what Rudin is. Well, let's see. Let me see if we can get in for information on this guy. Wonder if it's possible to get one that's not biased in either direction, just give something that's factual. Let's see. I'll try this one. This is actually ABC, but it looks like it's in local ABC, so maybe it will be at least, there we go. it will at least be somewhat balanced. I just want the facts, ma'am. That's all I want is the facts. Don't give me your rhetoric about who or someone is. Just give me the facts. Facts. Okay, let's see why. Okay. So, NYPD officer Didril Islam killed in Manhattan shooting was father of two. So a line of duty funeral for Islam will take place at Parkchester Jame Masjid on Thursday morning. So later, so it's 3 o'clock right now in the morning New York time. So one of the 4 people killed in Monday's Midtown shooting was an off-duty New York police officer. Oh, so he was off-duty. I didn't realize that. I thought he was... Okay, I'm thinking of the security guard that was on duty at the building. Was an off-duty New York police officer assigned to a Bronx precinct. Off-duty New York NYPD officer Didril Islam was the father of 2 and his wife is pregnant. She is due with their 3rd child next month. Police officer Didril Islam represented the very best of our department. He was protecting New Yorkers from danger when his life was tragically cut short today, the NYPD said in a statement. Islam is an immigrant from Bangladesh and was assigned to the 47th precinct at the station house in Baychester where purple bunting hangs. He was on the force for 3.5 years. Well, that's kind of prophetic, if you think about it. Islam was off duty and working a private security detail assignment at the time of the shooting. He was wearing a uniform which would have included a bullet-resistant vest, and he was carrying his weapon. He is the first NYPD officer Bangladeshi descent killed in the line of duty. It hurts because he was a member of our community and has a pregnant wife, said Parkchester resident Naval Sarkar. A dignified transfer of officer's Islam body from the medical examiner's office to a mosque at the Parkchester section of the Bronx took place on Tuesday afternoon. Traffic was held on FDR Drive to clear the roadway for the solemn procession. The NYPD and FDNY lined the streets to salute Islam. Neighbors have been paying respects to his family in Parkchester, which is home to a growing Bangladeshi community. His body arrived at the mosque where his family attends to a community in mourning. In keeping with his faith, his body is being prepared for in a line of duty funeral which will take place Thursday morning at Parkchester Jame Masjid. We do clean, wash the body, and wrap up in a white cloth. That's our glass cloth, we say. Then we put on the funeral so people can see him before we have the last prayer for him. His father's first cousin, Zayrul Islam said. His family says the timing of his death is especially painful. Neighbor says they're respected his home where his wife is inconsolable. His wife is we're expecting a baby next month, and the 2 little boys are little, not big, Islam said. Sergeant Muhammad Islam, who is not related but felt a kinship with the fellow Bronx cops, says the entire department will feel the kinship as it comes together to pay tribute to him in a service. We have all of his brothers and sisters behind us, so I feel the strength, Sergeant Islam said. He was about providing for his family, working every day, no matter what it took, no matter whether he was doing overtime. He was a sole provider for his family, and that's what he did every day, PBA President Patrick Henry said. Some Of Islam's family members need to travel from overseas for the funeral, and the officer's father is in the hospital. He suffered a medical episode Monday night after learning his son's death. In a press conference late Monday night, Mayor Eric Adams and New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch spoke about the victims and honored Islam for making the ultimate sacrifice. He loved his city, and everyone we spoke with stated he was a person of faith and a person that believed in God and believed in living out the life of a godly person. He embodies what the city is all about, Adams said. He was doing the job that we asked him to. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice. Shot in cold blood, wearing the uniform that stood for the promise that he made to the city, Tisch said. The shooting happened along Park Avenue, one of the nation's most recognized streets, and just blocks from the Grand Central Terminal and Rockefeller Center. I don't know New York, so I know these are significant tourist attractions. That's about that's about all I know. But I'm kind of like, I wonder if there's some significance there. It is also less than a 15-minute walk from where United Healthcare CEO. Oh, I wonder if anybody's made this connection. It's also less than a 15-minute walk from where United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed last December by a man who prosecutors say was angry over corporate greed. And my rumble just kind of blinked on that one. President Donald Trump said Tuesday that he knows that area of Manhattan well. I trust our law enforcement agencies to get to the bottom of why this crazy lunatic committed such senseless act of violence. My heart is with the families of the 4 people who were killed, including the NYPD officer who made the ultimate sacrifice, Trump posted on social media. So 3 others were killed and a 5th person, an NFL employee, was wounded in the attack. So investigators believe Shane Tamura of Las Vegas was trying to get to the NFL office in the building Monday after shooting several people in the building, but entered the wrong elevator banks, Mayor Adams said in interviews. He took his own life following the shootings. Police said Tamura had a history of mental illness, and a rambling note found on his body suggested that he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy. The degenerative brain disease has been linked to concussions and other repeated head trauma common in contact sports like football, but it can only be diagnosed after someone has died. I thought the other said that the autopsy wouldn't help, but anyway, I find this reporting to be probably the most balanced, because I didn't see anything that I would consider inflammatory about him. The only thing I could think of maybe when they described the rambling note. Other than that, I think it was straight. There was no yeah, Big Kahuna, I mean, early in the mornings are kind of bare when I'm on. It's pretty quiet. But I'm just saying this about this guy. I mean, I think this report is probably about the best reporting I've seen on anything. Again, straightforward, just the facts. I do not like, because I am so tired of people trying to tug on my heartstrings over every little incident, that I am just give me. If I were to sit on if I sit on a jury, I just want bare facts. I don't want you to sit there and try to snow me, right? Okay, so, okay, it looks like Rumble is freezing up on me. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna cancel Rumble. So now let's look at root in management. I'm gonna see, but I appreciate that last. I know everybody. you know, people. I know that. Let's see. I gotta get my. Oh. See what comes up on root in management. Hmm. So I'm gonna go with WNYW. But as I was saying, I don't like it when people try to tug on my heartstrings. If you try to tug on my heartstrings, you've already lost. Just give me the facts. Let me make my own decision. Let me make my own, uh, or my own opinion, and let me decide on my own what I want to. Don't embellish. I just want to. I can make. I mean, I can make my own decisions on what I believe. So this comes out of Fox 5 in New York. So what is root in management? Midtown gunman may have wound up on wrong floor. So in brief, a New York PD officer was one of 4 people killed in a Midtown Manhattan office building Monday evening. The gunman wound up on the 33rd floor offices of Root in Management, one of the city's largest real estate firms. Mayor Adams says it's likely the suspect was targeting. So they are speculating whether the target was really the NFL offices on a different floor. So 4 people, included an NYPD officer, were killed Monday when a gunman walked through a Midtown office building and repeatedly opened fire before turning the gun on himself. It's not immediately clear why Shane Tamura chose 345 Park Avenue as his destination after driving across the country. Okay, so they have to put the AR-15 style rifle, though police said that the 27-year-old had a history of mental illness, and Mayor Eric Adams says Tamura may have intended to target the National Football League offices there. So that's the backstory. So I'm not going to go through because we've already heard some of the backstory. So I'm not going to go through everything, I think. Hold on a second. I want to make sure that my audio is still coming through. I can't tell if it is. Yep, okay. On Rumble. So I'm going to kind of skip some of it. So, according to police, he walked through he walked into the lobby about 6:30 and immediately targeted the off-duty police officer, this Didrol Islam. Uh-oh. All right. Okay, looked like I got kicked off again. But this time I got kicked off of Rumble too. Alright, well, okay, I may have to shut down Rumble because, Rumble has stopped recording, or Rumble has stopped, there we go, there's my mic on Rumble. So if you are on Rumble, for those who are maybe listening on live on Rumble, if I get kicked off again or my audio leaves, I may go ahead and shut down Rumble. Apparently I can't do too long. I can't do live very long on Rumble and be in Zoom too, or else I get kicked out. Yeah, I don't know how to upgrade the bandwidth. Yep. Okay, let's try this again. Good. So that's 3 times I've been kicked out of Zoom, even without being in Rumble. Alright. Where was I? Okay, so he walked through the lobby, and it says immediately targeted the off-duty, which is Didral Islam, working as a security guard. So he shot more people, then headed to the elevator. And then he took the elevator to the 33rd floor, which we all know, and continued to shoot. He had the note. So here is what we know about 345 Park Avenue, better known as to some as the Blackstone Building, is a 44-story tower home to several businesses, including financial firms like Blackstone Group, Deutsche Bank, KPMG Capital Trust. So is the shooting, is it kind of like another Twin Tower situation? I wonder. The global headquarters for the National Football League also occupies the 5th floor. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, what are the possibility that he got in the wrong unless they have different banks, I guess that is possible. If you have like a south and a north side of the building. So the 33rd floor houses offices for the building's owner, Rudin Management Company. So Rudin actually owns the building, but it's got all these other financial people. Okay, investigators have not publicly said no, because we all have sources and anonymous sources that were given out information. So they have not investigators have not publicly said why he may have targeted the building, and it's not clear if he was firing randomly or targeting specific people, or even if he went up to the 33rd floor by mistake. So what they're saying Tuesday morning, Eric Adams said he may have been going after employees with the NFL. So there are 2 different elevator banks, and as you know, anyone has seen many of our corporate buildings, some banks don't go to every floor. Yeah, but that doesn't explain why if NFL was on the 5th floor, why would he go to the 33rd floor? That to me does not make sense. And dig deeper. So the management company is a large real estate firm that owns the building, along with many other high-end commercial and residential properties across New York City. The residential properties mostly include desirable neighborhoods in the Upper East and Upper West sides, while Dock 72 and the Brooklyn Navy Yard is one of their most recent high-profile projects. It was founded in 1925 by Samuel Rudin and remains in the Rudin family. It's one of the oldest real estate firms in the city, and it's got holdings at over $2 billion back in 2001, but nothing recent. I bet you, I wonder if President Trump, I'm sure he is, being from New York, I'm sure President Trump knows. Who knows? Probably knows the. So, yeah, I must be triggered. I must be triggering somebody I may be triggering somebody if I'm getting all these followers. I haven't had this many to follow me in. Yeah, so he has different rifle outside than that the police show. I'm telling you, there's more to that story than meets the eye. It's not what we think. I really believe. So, certain words triggers a lot of people. Okay, well, we spent an hour. I spent an hour on that whole Manhattan story. I mean, I wonder if that's what the earthquake and everything is a way of. Oh no, I took out the wrong thing. Shoot. Because there was the Cincinnati. I wanted to do with the Cincinnati too. I deleted the wrong story. Great. Now I don't remember what the other one was. The Cincinnati, because there was another. Was it in Cincinnati? Let me see if I can find it. Was it I wish I could remember. Is it a Cincinnati shooting? I mean, they've arrested like 5 people and all that. Just in within 72 hours, they arrested like 5 people in Cincinnati. What was that? Shot in the neck. Shootings. Oh gosh. Okay, there was a Fairfield shooting. Now I don't know what. Wish I could remember because they were so close together, and I'm sure so there was another incident. Uh, So now I don't, snurts. Maybe I can cover it on Saturday if I can find that link again. Bummer. Okay. Oh, I did want to cover this. I thought this was hilarious. So let's get off of the let's get on to the absurd. This let's get off the sadness and the and for a moment, and let's just talk about the absurd for a moment. I Did anybody see this? So then where's Thumper? Too bad Thumper doesn't. Where's Thumper? I bet Thumper would get a kick out of this one. So this came out on the 24th, which is last week. So Seattle woman takes Navy's Blue Angels to court over social media censorship and acoustic torture of cat. So Seattle woman files First Amendment violation after being blocked for complaining about jet noise terrorizing her elderly cat. A Seattle woman is suing the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels, the military's most famous flight demonstration squadron, after she was blocked from commenting on its Instagram account to complain about the, quote, state-sanctioned acoustic torture from the group's aerial shows and practices, which she said terrorized her cats in their final days. Lauren Ann Lombardi filed a federal lawsuit July the 21st, accusing the Blue Angels of infringing on her First Amendment rights. The complaint names Navy Commander Adam Bryan, L. Ben Bushong, the public affairs officers for the Blue Angels, and an unnamed social media administrator for the squadron as defendants. The lawsuit states that the Blue Angels perform shows in the Seattle area near Puget Sound every August using FA-18EF Super Hornet jets, quote, with the subtlety of a military occupation, unquote, while reaching speeds of upwards of 700 miles per hour, which produces extreme decibel levels. During the shows, Lombardi engaged, in quotes, in a familiar American pastime of complaining to her government about her government's actions through her government's social media accounts, unquote, to advocate for her elderly cat, Layla, who suffered from congestive heart disease, and calling for the demonstrations in August 2023 and 2024 to end the lawsuit states. However, she was eventually blocked from commenting on the Blue Angels Instagram page. In quote, these thin-skinned bureaucrats blocked Lombardi from commenting any further, thereby muzzling an American citizen while simultaneously blinding the broader public from witnessing legitimate grievances against their government, the lawsuit said of the people running the Instagram account. Lombardi's messages appear to show her displeasure and frustration with the noise levels from the performance. Stop your FB, you're terrorizing my cat and all other animals and wildlife, one message states. F off, and nobody gives F about your stupid little planes. Oh, oh geez, oh look at Layla. Aw. I know it sounds like I'm making fun, but cats are okay. But still. I wonder if that really is Layla. She also left multiple comments on the Blue Angels Instagram post or tagged their handle on other account posts where she directed users to sign a change.org petition We all want to feel safe. No more Blue Angels over Seattle. You know, it's they there's always some little group or little minor. I mean, there are people that actually want to uh, ban. Okay. Yeah, we may. If it gets to be too much, we may need to start. I can't ban anybody because I'm on my phone, but we may have to get some people to. Hopefully, some people can jump in and start banning if that gets to be too annoying. If that turns out that these are bots, but there's always groups and there are people that want to ban fireworks. I mean, in Texas, we've got a fireworks. Fireworks can only be like 2 times throughout the year, New Year's and Fourth of July. And you have people. I mean, I get it. Your parent, your pets, you know, but still, is it really that bad of an inconvenience? To have fireworks just occasionally. I mean, I know in California, there last year it was really weird. This year I didn't hear as many complaints, but people were complaining from, um, was it Martin Luther King Day all the way until Fourth of July. For like several months they were complaining about fireworks starting. So. So when she was blocked from the Blue Angels account August the 5th of 2023, Lombardi sent the group a direct message calling them cowards. The message was never delivered because she was blocked. Lombardi said her cat suffered in her final days because of the aerial performances. Whatever bandwidth Layla's walnut-sized brain could previously gorge upon had been narrowed to a single overwhelming frequency, pure debilitating terror, this lawsuit says. Every August was good until then, but no August would ever be the same again. Layla's condition continued to deteriorate when she left home again. For the final time, she spent her last week fighting for her life in a specialty hospital before being humanely euthanized on August 11th of 2024, surrounded by her inconsolably grieving family. Layla's final days on earth were marred by sadistic suffering, cowering in terror beneath furniture while her ailing heart struggled against the Blue Angels' relentless noise pollution. Layla died knowing only fear when she should have known only love. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like to watch the Blue Angels. I think they're cool. I think they're neat, and it's only like three days out of the year. Is it really that bad? The lawsuit noted that Lombardi respects and supports the U.S. military and that her criticism of the Blue Angels was focused on the, quote, environmental and conditional harms caused by their demonstration practices and subsequent censorship activities. Their practices, how long did they practice? She is asking a judge to force the Blue Angels to unblock her from Instagram account, to order the defendants named in the suit to take remedial First Amendment training, and to award her cost of attorney fees. Well, I'd like to see the outcome of that. I don't know. You probably get an activist judge. Anytime they would not be screaming First Amendment if it's an activist judge. But I don't know. Does it? So, what do you guys think? Does this really follow under First Amendment? No, I get it. I get it, Poe. I'm just saying that if it, because we've had bot attacks before, and when they come in and they come in like 100 at a time, we need like three people just to. So, so I don't know. I feel for her. I'm sorry she misses her pet. I'm sure. Sorry, but I don't know. It seems like this is a slack exaggeration. I mean, she just wants to complain, and I mean, how long was she complaining? And I mean, using profanity. I know some people don't have a problem with it, and they're, you know, but after a while, it gets to be too much, and it's more of a distraction than anything. So, I don't know. Is it really about, is it really about First Amendment, or is it that she's just upset because her pet is no longer with her? And speaking of, uh-oh, there we go. All right. So let's get this. So I thought this was interesting. Yeah, I mean, how old was the cat? I think I saw somewhere where it was like 14 years old. I mean, it was an elderly cat, and the whole noise thing that bothers pets and everything, and everybody gets so upset. I don't know. Sometimes I think it gets a little bit too over exaggerated. So I thought this was interesting, though. I mean, it's like I told Chris, this whole thing with Epstein, nobody cared um, under President Trump's first term about Epstein. Nobody cared, they talked about, they were going after President Trump over this and that and Stormy Daniels. And it's funny how people sit there and say, how can you believe a man who lies versus all these women who come out of the word work? Well, I mean, like I said before, have you seen the women who have come out the word work and claimed that he assaulted them? And by the way, he has not been charged with RAPE. He has not been convicted of RAPE. He he was, and we all know the charges of the sexual assault charges. Even Stormy Daniels recounted. E.G. Carroll. I mean, come on, look at the women he married. Look at some of the women he dated. You really think that he's got a type? You really think that these women would be? They're nuts. You really think that these women, he would be attracted to those women? I don't know who came up with the idea that he was with some porn star or some prostitute when First Lady Melania was uh, giving birth to Barron. I don't know where that came from. I mean, it's like, where's your proof? Prove it. We know that, I mean, now he's talking about how, I mean, it's on record he banned Epstein, and now he's coming out and said why he banned Epstein. And I think one of the words he used is he stole her. Stole. He stole her. I believe he used that term. And I mean, you just think about it. And I'm going to keep screaming from the rooftop. I mean, they misquote his that access tape, He never said he would grab. He said, when you are as rich as I am, people or women will let. And I don't know where's the falsehood in that statement. There are some women that would. I mean, look at, before, or, well, look at, I think it was Kobe Bryant. I mean, anybody remember that lawsuit when a woman meets him in a hotel room and then uh, accuses him of sexual assault? You know, how many women have filed false claims for fame or because, I mean, Errol Flynn was got taken down because he had sex with a minor, and he claims he didn't know she was a minor. I mean, how many teenagers throw themselves, teenage young ladies or young women throw themselves at these musicians? I mean, is he wrong in his statement? Was he, what he said may have been crude, but it was also a private conversation. So who goes around taping private conversations? I mean, in a real world and a you know, in a perfect world, he would never have said those things in the first place. But also there would have never been a recording of that in the first place. It was a private conversation. And do I let him off? Well, first of all, it was none of my business. It's not about whether I should let him off or not. It was a private conversation, as crude as it was. But, and if anybody wants to talk, well, you're not a Christian because of that. Well, it's called showing grace. So, anyway. I just, anyway, let's get back to this thing with Epstein. And we also know because the Attorney General came out and said President Trump was the only one who called him. President Trump called the Attorney General of Florida, said, I will clear, how much time do you need? I will clear and I will tell you everything I know. And I think he gave him at least 2 hours from what I understand from what I read. So this is a repost actually from Red Pill Pharma. So the judge who denied the release of the Epstein grand jury testimony is married to one of the attorneys connected to Epstein's case, leading to the sweetheart deal. Now, nobody talks about the sweetheart deal that Epstein got back in 2008. I mean, basically, he was house arrest. That was about it. He came and went as he pleased. So Judge Robin L. Rosenberg is married to Michael J. McAuliffe, who worked as an assistant state attorney under Barry Krischer, Palm Beach County State Attorney. Krischer oversaw the state investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and approved the decision not to prosecute Epstein, leading to the highly criticized non-prosecution agreement. Many say the agreement was too lenient, giving Epstein 13 months in county jail with work release privileges. The connection has raised questions about political conflicts of interest in past Epstein-related rulings by Rosenberg. So here we have Rosenberg. For example, in 2020, during an earlier attempt to unseal state grand jury records from the Epstein investigation, Rosenberg did not disclose her husband's professional ties to Krischer or the office handling the case. She has also reportedly failed to disclose the ties in the current federal case. Rosenberg denied the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury transcripts for Epstein earlier this month. The transcripts related to federal grand juries in West Palm Beach in 2005 and 2007 during an investigation into Epstein's activities that didn't lead to federal charges. So let me repeat that. The transcripts relate to federal grand juries in West Palm Beach in 2005 and 2007 during an investigation into Epstein's activities that didn't lead to federal charges. So that, yeah, I think it was in 2008 when they finally got him. Instead, Epstein received that controversial non-prosecution agreement from state prosecutors in Palm Beach County. Christer and McAuliffe. Isn't McAuliffe also tied to New York or something? Or am I thinking of something else? Allowing Epstein to plead guilty to lesser state charges and avoid more severe federal prosecution. Judge Rosenberg was appointed by Obama in 2014. So, like I said, I just thought that was an interesting reminder of who these people are that are trying to, yeah, I agree, Bacon, Hey, everybody, if y'all are new to, or if y'all are just joining us, welcome. And so I got about 30 more minutes. So what is it, it's just, what can I say? I've said it before. I was telling, I told, just a reminder about my YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm not broadcasting live right now on YouTube because my link didn't go through right. But I am broadcasting on, or streaming, I should say. I shouldn't say broadcasting, but I am streaming live right now on Rumble. And I like the streaming live on Rumble. I just wish I could get more chatters in Rumble. So I don't know. Maybe it would be too big of a distraction. And I'm putting my link. And let me also reminder, if you want to help, if you can, great. If not, I know a lot of the hosts on PSV are having financial, we all are in somewhat form or fashion. But if you do want to help, if you do want to support, you can, or you don't have to. So anyway, so let's see, where can I go from here? I want to try to stream. I'm going to try to simultaneously stream a video. Hopefully this isn't going to cause an issue. Hey, Canadian Bacon. Good morning. Yeah, I agree. There's no way they would have put President Trump in the presidential position if he had this dirty laundry. I mean, come on. I mean, this man is probably the most vetted man, and how people can. I mean, you have Joe Biden on video, live video, sitting there saying that, talking about quid pro quo, and yet they don't want to believe it. And just, I find it. This is the reason why when I try to look for the other side, and see if there's merit, if what they're really believing has merit, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Okay, let's do some news. Let's see if we can wake people up this morning. So for a lot of you, if you're on the East Coast, it is 4:00 a.m. And on the West Coast, it is almost, well, not 4:00, but 4:30 a.m. Oh, boogers. Let me see. Let me see. Uh-oh. It may not let me. That is weird. Well, doesn't look. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is a way. Let me see. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see if it's going to work. Ah. All right. Let's see if this will work. Okay. All right. Well, let me get that share down real quick. And let's see something. I need to double check something real quick. Yes. Okay. Trying to simultaneously share on 2 different platforms. It's a nice, interesting challenge. So, all right, everybody, let's give it up for Max Impact. And hopefully it'll work.
Charlie Green 7-1, guard.
Oops, sorry. Thanks, Canadian Bacon. Yeah, it looks like my bandwidth is not going to be able to. Looks like my bandwidth isn't going to be able to handle me to try to simulcast a video. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to take down Rumble. So if you are on Rumble, thank you for listening and joining me live on Rumble for On the Wing and a Prayer, seen on Patriots Soapbox Thursday mornings, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern, and then on Saturday evenings, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, so adjust for your time zone. And one of these days I'll have the tech issues licked, and so I am going to stop my live streaming on Rumble. And y'all have a good night, good morning. Enjoy the rest of the month. Remember, July, we are now officially July the 31st. We're at the end of July. We only have 5 more months to the end of the year. So it's going to be, I hope it's this year. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about, too bad I didn't get a chance to talk about, what does everybody think about this Josh Hawley? Everything he knows is wrong? Yeah, that would probably be interesting. Um, Want to give everybody a $600 checks. President Trump talks about rebates, and of course, he gets asked these questions, and then people go nuts because of his answers because he was asked these questions. And so now Josh Hawley, I mean, it's interesting because Josh Hawley wants to give American public or people $600. Nobody does anybody remember when Bush 43 did that? He gave like over 2 years. He gave 400 1 year and 200 the next. To help stimulate the economy. The only problem I'm like $600. Are you kidding me? After stealing the money off the sweat of my back, and you're only going to give me 600 to think that's going to keep me happy? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just selfish, but I don't think it's enough, you know? You guys, I mean, you've enslaved us with our wages, and now you want, you just want, I mean, that's peanuts. It's peanuts. I mean, I guess, I know it's better than nothing, but still. And then you have the whole issue with President Trump and Josh Hawley about uh, I think Josh Hawley is, if I read it correctly, he's blocking the legislation about stock trading. We know that a lot of these Congress people get their inside information, and they seem to be getting pretty lucrative deals out of the whole situation. So anyway. So all right, so with that being said, I think I'll just go ahead and end my streaming, and I'm going to shut down my Rumble Studio. Apparently it's going to cause an issue if I try to stream through Rumble. So bye Rumble, bye live stream, and until we meet again, go in peace. Okay, everybody. So, everybody in Zoom, D Live. Yeah. $600. I hear you, Mo. I hear you. It'll help, but to me, it's still not enough. I mean, would I turn it down? Absolutely not. But I still don't think it's enough. Knowing what we know, knowing how they've stolen from us all these years, no. I don't disagree with you. But okay, let me get my YouTube up, hopefully. Yep. It's like I like working part time, but sometimes it's not enough. Okay, let me clean some of this out. So, come on. All right. Okie dokie. Alrighty. Okay, I saw it, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Gotta find. I'm still working my way around YouTube for music with Foxfire no longer doing music. It just, or no longer, I don't have anything. Now I gotta find what I was looking for. Uh-oh, I've forgotten what it was. Whoops. Oh, let's do this one, I think. Ah, here we go. This is what I wanted to do. Okay. I gotta exit full screen first. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, I agree, Canadian bacon. Alright, here we go.
here and get it there on time. All hands on, countermeasures, 2 wheels up, still more to do. We come through the fire, stained in oil and grease, turning the wrenches, keeping all the yours at ease, cleaning, maintaining, and arms checks too, to keep our blades up in the blue. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. If you're searching for integrity, first look here. Service before self is what you hold dear. Excellence in all we do. Dreams take flight. The power of the force is reaching new
Okay, so that was Max Impact and Locked and Loaded. And you know what, Common Citizen? That is a good question, I think. Do we qualify for a Purple Heart Wounded in Action? I mean, uh, I don't know. Walk-in wounded. And I feel for Tim, but I mean, we've all, don't get me wrong, we've all lost loved ones, I'm sure, for whatever reason. But every time someone talks about the election of 2016 and the 2020 election, 2024 election, I keep thinking about my brother-in-law, and I always go back there because from what my sister was telling me that she was told, he was the lead investigator in the where he worked into all of that. And I keep wondering, what did he know? What did he report? And because from what my understanding is, his work, actually, he served under 5 presidents, and his work in the last, 20 years would have gone to the desk of whoever was president at the time. That would have been Obama and President Trump and the puppet in the last 4 years. So I don't know. And I don't know. It just walking wounded, and I'm wondering if his death actually is what she thinks it is. I don't know. I don't have proof it was anything but what what she thinks it is. You know, it could have been shot related because I know he did take the shot. It could have been something else. You know, they do. So anywho, guys, and I appreciate y'all for sticking around and we and even with the tech issues, I always have tech issues, and one of these days, hopefully, you know, that $600 will probably get me a new computer, but that's about it. So, well, let's see. I got 10 more minutes. What can we do for 10 minutes, or what can we say? Talking us. Unless Poe, would you like to join me for the last 10 minutes, so we can just chit chat for a little bit and
Sure, what's up? I'm just sitting here and waiting for someone to say hi.
hi.
Good
So
morning.
what do you think about what everything's going on? I know we talk about this. We always pretty much have the same conclusion, or just it's basically all the same old, and I think we're all battle weary at this point.
Everything's getting exciting right now.
You
Everything's
what?
coming to a head. I said everything's getting exciting right now. It's all coming to a head.
I wish
So,
I wish I could be that excited. I really do. I used to get so excited, but now it's like, okay, let's just I mean, because I still see the bots. I still see the fools out there that buys into the agenda narrative, you know? And it
well,
just
people, not everybody's online. What we got? 300 people here. There's a lot of people in the world. 270 people in the room right now. And that's just this room. But yeah, we're talking in our loop. It'll get out.
yeah. Like I said, how can anybody? I mean, really, how can anybody believe that? I mean, all I keep hearing, or most of what I see, it's, oh, Orange Man bad. Orange Man always lies. You can't trust Orange Man, and it's like, but you can trust a man who walks off stage and talks about corn pop uh, and someone who has been pretty much proven that he's got dementia. You can trust him that he doesn't lie, even though, I mean, how can anybody not see when uh, you talk about? I mean, their narrative is Trump's a pedophile, but yet you have the videos, actual videos of Biden sniffing little girls' hair. I mean, and he talks about them rubbing his
Well, because they
legs.
don't have those videos. They're not showing them all that stuff. We see it because we're digging and we're looking. My mother has no clue. I guarantee you, she's got no clue in none of this. So that's what the problem is. The news ain't telling you the truth. At some point, they're gonna say, "Whoa, what the hell's going on here?" It's gonna happen. You
Yeah,
know, it's got to. So,
yeah, I agree. It's got to. I mean, I just, it would be nice. I know they're talking. I mean, I think it's, well, even people on, I guess you could say, MAGA side, they don't see the treason. They don't see Obama being treason. They say, well, he was a president, he could do whatever. It's like, no, go back and look at Article 3 and find out what the definition of treason is. Just because he was quote unquote president doesn't mean he didn't commit treason by
Well,
and
now listen, and that's why he was in office too. So what he's done out of office is totally different than what he did in office. So you got to remember that. And you're not allowed to, try to destroy your country. I mean,
destroy it from
you're just
within.
you're not allowed to do that. So I mean, whatever. You know, we'll see what happens.
Well, and I got to
You know.
thinking, oh gosh, oh, I had something deep about the finance stuff, and now I can't remember what I had wanted to bring up about the finance stuff. Oh my
I'm hoping
gosh.
I'm hoping something happens tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know
Well,
what's gonna happen.
it has to do with, oh my gosh. I thought about it. I've been thinking about it for the last 2 or 3 days, and it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to talk to Dano about this. About oh yeah, about, you talk about treason and the debt. People talk about the debt. We got to pay down the debt, but I got a question. I challenge people's thinking. Do we really owe the debt? Who holds our debt? China? Well, uh, they they basically were given our proprietary information. They got all of our military secrets. So did they really owe the debt? Do we really owe debt to them because they did? We were sold out. They bought our land by our military bases so they can get our secrets or get tapped into our secrets. So do we really, how about, do we really owe debt to China? How about, do we really owe debt to Japan? I think I heard that Japan holds some of our debt. Do we really? I mean, they're coming back, and then why
Well,
would you invest? Or did they forgive our debt? Why would they invest like billions of dollars into our country if they still owe our debt? I keep thinking, people keep saying, well, California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico belong to Mexico. Yeah, but the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, also, we paid Mexico, paid their debt, and that's how we got the land. So there you go. So I just thought about that. It's like, do we really owe that debt?
whoever is owed the money for that, I don't want anybody to suffer. So I mean, whatever happens, I don't, everybody's got to be happy in the end. So we'll see what happens.
Well, the people that aren't going
You
to be
know,
fight.
I don't want the people of China to suffer. I don't want the people of anywhere to suffer. I just don't want anybody dying anymore.
Right.
So
Unless it's
yeah,
natural causes.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
Because,
I mean,
uh,
there's no reason that we should be fighting. You know, so
well, you're always going to have good
forever.
and bad.
I think
But
it's. I think it's. I think. Yeah, I think it's Cain and Abel. I think it's the old story, and just that's what I think it is. The two bloodlines, and I'm pretty well researched, so I'm pretty convinced. So but that's. I mean, you can believe in whatever you want. I don't care, but that's what I believe, and that's what I'm. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
yep, I agree there. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. So it's top of the hour's coming up. You want to go ahead and take over? Did you find stuff, or did you need to go get coffee before you come on?
Oh, I'll get coffee where I'm going. It doesn't slow me down. Nothing slows me down. I'll play the opener. We're going old school opener because I like the old school openers. We should really play it more often. You
Yeah,
know.
I know we talked about it. I've lost that video of
Well,
the.
I mean, it'll show some of these grumpy old people where we came from. I don't want to point any elbows,
You know,
but
I like to. I
it
tell you
will
what.
show.
I kind of like to see the Joe
We
M videos. It seems like every time I see the someone plays the Joe M video, it seems like I'm like,
I've
I
got
don't
them
rem-
all.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I remember parts of that, but I mean, did he update it and nobody noticed? Or, I mean, I know he's kind of disappeared off the face of the earth a little bit, but it's like, it seems like there's something. I was like, was that there before? Or, or is this new? So,
Yeah, I've got all those Joe M's. I don't. I mean, I might have them saved. I mean, I do have them saved somewhere, but they've been posting them. They're hitting on. They've been hitting on adrenochrome and human trafficking, and I got a Flint thing up right now. I don't see it.
yeah.
Um, but they're just think of how you felt. If this is new to you, we're gonna have to play the Joe Adams and you can't just come right into you know advanced learning right off the bat because it was long. We've been here for almost a decade.
Yeah.
So, probably I have been here a decade. I just been with Q for, I've been doing this a lot longer than that probably because I knew what they were doing a lot longer than that.
Right.
So,
Well, Q.
and trying to tell them. So,
Yeah, I tell you what, I keep thinking of people I mean, some of the people I follow on Facebook and they put out stuff. It's like, I knew that 5 years ago, I'm like, you're just now catching up, some of these influencers are finally starting to get, I don't know, people are starting to find some of these influencers and
yeah, yeah. And then you got to go back to how you felt when you were first waking up and you were finding out how this stuff was, you had no idea any of this was going on, so, I mean,
well, I think that for me,
I mean,
the seed had already been planted. I talk about a lot of times with my dad because both my dad and my mom were into the JFK stuff, and it wasn't hard. The whole, Oswald was the patsy. Oswald didn't do it, and it's like I've shared before too. When I was in, well, I had already was it no. Did I already graduate already? It was maybe I thought I was in high school. Anyway, my dad made a comment one time. He asked me, he goes, who elects the president of the United States? I said, well, it's the Electoral College. He says, nope, it's the banks. And they thought they had a yes man with Reagan, and they found out that they didn't. And so it was like, oh, but I was still too young to really understand what he was trying to get at. So so my dad kind of, and so now when I look back, some of the stuff he told me is like, oh, that's what he was saying. So I kind of had a seed planted a long time ago. I just didn't understand it at the time, and so now a lot of things are making sense.
oh, I didn't have that seed. I knew something was wrong all by my lonesome. So, and I just took a while to figure out how wrong it was. So,
Well, my dad was
and now I
always,
know.
yeah, my dad was always the type of person. He's like, he believed, and I say believe because when he was alive, you know, he read his Bible, he believed in God, he was Christian, and uh, he didn't want to give the government more than the government took from us. I mean, he did not like doctors. He did not like, you know, you know, he did what he had to do to kind of appease the government, but he wasn't going to give the government more than what he had to. He just wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't say he was necessarily anti-government. He just didn't. He definitely did not like doctors. He just didn't. He he was a corrections officer in later in his life. His last career, he had been a wholesale hardware salesman pretty much all my growing up years, and then he and then when he lost his job, he became a corrections officer. But so so he so and he believed in the Second Amendment. So he yeah. So it's my dad. I mean, when I look back, my dad interesting, interesting.
All right. I missed whatever you said because my kid is like bombarding me here.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's
Um,
okay. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling about my dad and how, you know, he grew up on a farm, so he had a, but he he had some, I guess you could say, some old fashioned wisdom. He used to call me book smart, not common sense smart, but anyway, well, I am going to let you go. You have a good show. I'm running out of steam.
thanks. Great show. Okay.
And
You have a good night.
yeah, you
Great
too.
show.
And chat, you have a good night. Thank you for bearing with me and my tech issues and getting kicked out. Like, I was getting kicked out, it seemed like every hour or something. I got kicked out so many times. But anyway, I will see you next week. Talk to you later.